Okay, we're going to give you a brief overview of the weapons accessing program, but before we demonstrate any techniques or anything, I just want to tell you how it kind of got started. I've done a lot of PFS stuff through Paul Vunak, and we really spent a lot of time in the clinch. I expanded upon that into the Greco-Roman and some of the body pummeling and just developing the entire clinch game. And as I was working on that material, it came to mind of multiple opponents. And my first goal was simply to break out, to get away in the clinch. Most of my training had been focused on getting to the clinch. That's home, that's where I want to be in a lot of situations. But there's a time when you don't need to be there anymore. Things change. So my initial focus was, how do I break this clinch? How do I get out of it? And then we started looking at getting to the back as a simple concept. If I can get to the back, it's a lot easier to break away, and you have a lot of other vicious things you can do from a clinch from the back as well. So as this material developed, as we're getting to the back, as we're breaking out a clinch, we're doing that because of maybe multiple opponents, maybe the person in the clinch is accessing the weapon. So we looked at weapons accessing. And that expanded from there to include, how do I access from every position, standing, on the ground, when I'm in a verbal confrontation possibly. And then it expanded to denying the opponent access. We're in a clinch, he starts reaching for something. We're on the ground, he starts reaching for something. So that's just kind of an idea of how the whole program got started in the first place. Okay, we're going to take a quick look at a technique called the frame. This was created by my instructor, John Davis, in Virginia Beach. I think we did it back in 2001, right around there. He came up with a power shot program. And part of that power shot program was, he was just figuring ways to generate the most power possible with your upper body. And one of the big elements of it was using the forearms as impact tools. So he created this frame technique, and it came from a frame that you use in a headlock escape from jiu-jitsu, but using it to apply power to the opponent. Over the years, playing with this technique, I started to, as I got into law enforcement, I started to see that, a lot of times a sucker punch being used by an officer doesn't always work out. We call it a sucker punch because I'm initiating. I know something bad's about to happen. I have multiple opponents here, maybe laughing about how they're going to cut me up. I don't want to wait till they go, especially at close range. So, for self-defense, I might actually hit them in the throat to start the fight, if it came to that level, that use of force. And not that couldn't be done in law enforcement as well if you had to survive and you can articulate it. But I think a lot of officers would hesitate for something like that. And we already deal with enough hesitation as it is, unfortunately, with the current situation in the country. So the frame allows us to initiate the contact without having to wait for our opponent. If he comes in our space, we know that action is faster than reaction. If he goes quick and efficient to the target, he is going to hit us first. So we don't want to wait for him, okay? So maybe I told him to get back once, I moved back on my own if I could, but now he keeps coming forward, I can't wait here. And what this also allows me to do is access my weapon. I can initiate this just to access a tool. If you're a police officer or you're outside, if you're a corrections officer and you're out on a transport, you have a gun. But if you're inside a facility as a corrections officer, you may have your OC, you may have a taser, baton, depending on where you work, what you do. So this allows you to create that space to access that weapon. Where if I just try to access it with him at close range here, we have equal access. He can take it from me, okay? So the frame looks like this. What I'm doing is I'm going to ballistically strike him with my forearm, the center of my forearm. This is not a shove. It may look a bit like a shove because I'm not going to hit my partner full power here, but when we do it full contact, we're going to hit hard. I'm going to try to aim for about the center of the chest, okay? I don't want to go below the nipple line because if I hit low, he'll buck forward on me, okay? Now that may be fine if you want to set that up for something, but to create space, I want to hit his upper body so I make his shoulders go back, which will make his center of gravity go back and move away from me. It's particularly good if somebody is square to you. They get up in your face and they're square and they're like this. they really go for a ride because they don't have any structure to stop that force going that direction. So from whatever position I happen to be in, maybe I'm talking here, I'm in this position, some natural hand position. Right from here, I can strike and drive through. Okay, and I'm going to explode into that. It will actually look like this: boom, in and out. Okay, you got to say boom too, or it doesn't work. All right. So as I'm talking to the person, they've got my space. He comes in, I slam him back, and now I'm able to access. Okay. Now that's one application of the frame. There are many. This thing works as a really good, powerful block. It can be used to pull with, to move a body, basically. But as a core technique for weapons accessing, that's a very good